Oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. We're gonna get back to that here in a minute, but let me get everybody up to speed really quick. You see, I had a goal. October 27th of 2024 was the last vintage race of the season. So I wanted to restore a bike and have it ready for that race. So what I did is last February, I went out and found this XR 250 that was all taken apart and in a box.
Hey, look, Dan, it's Bike in a Box. Dan, how do you not like Bike in a Box?
Everybody loves Bike in a Box.
Oh, I love Bike in a Box.
And we got to work on it. We got everything unloaded, inventoried, cleaned up, finished taken apart. We got the frame out to powder coat, we got the wheels cleaned up, we got the tank polished, we got the rest of the engine torn apart only to discover that the camshaft was bad. We got the seat reupholstered, got the tank shined up, and got the bike back into a roller. Then this happened.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I just want to touch on a few things that a few people out there have been saying about my bike building abilities.
Paul Sr. has made a reaction video on my video.
They want to get on the phone with me. They want to do a Zoom or something like that. Whatever they want to do, they want to come here. Let's get it on, you know what I mean? I'm willing to do, you know, whatever it is that they think that they're capable of doing that's better than me.
Right.
I'm willing to challenge them.
Now, I wasn't for certain, but I thought for sure something was gonna come of this. So I got to work on this XR. I quickly rebuilt the brakes, I got some other little things done, I put the oil pump gaskets in, and I thought the engine was gonna all go back together and in the bike so we could get it running and wrap this all up. And I realized I ordered the wrong piston rings.
Crap, Dan.
Craig.
Shoot, Dan.
Darn.
And that's not the end of the world, but what happened next derailed everything.
So I'm over here at Orange County Choppers, and I got a bone to pick with Paul Sr. Oh, shoot. Paul, come on, man.
And after that trip to Florida, we realized that this bike build-off was actually gonna happen with Paul Sr. Ugh. I had so much stuff going on now at this time, like things were just crazy. So now that everybody's all up to speed, here's what's going on. We only had a little tiny bit of time to get this bike done before we had to start that other project. So I did a lot of filming while Dan wasn't around. I set up the cameras, I put in my earbuds, and I got to work. Let's go. Okay, so what I did there was I measured my bolts. So I knew which ones went in the cylinder and which ones kept the head down. Here's how I did it, I'll show you. Came to my parts breakdown, and if you look here, we have 8, 9, and 10. Come over here to 8, 9, and 10. It tells us 81 millimeter, 100 millimeter, 72 millimeter. And that's how I knew which bolts went where. So if you just have a bag of bolts, kind of like I did, that's how you know what goes where. Just trying to get all this stuff done. We did a lot of work. I did a lot of getting stuff together here off camera. Checked my timing 5 times. Stator cover is gonna go on. I think that's a good spot to start next. Let's get this engine ready to go back in the bike. What you think, Dane? Sound like a good idea?
It's about dang time.
If you listen really close, you can hear my wrist click.
Who needs a torque wrench?
Okay. It's looking good. Spin this thing around. Let's get this side cover on. A little grease, help hold things into place. Put this kickstart shaft all together here. Okay, so then here we have a dot, here we have a dot. Those dots need to be lined up. See that? Dot, dot.
See, restoring bikes, it's as easy as dot, dot.
All you gotta do is line up them dots, Dan.
All you gotta do. I too can line up dots.
Dot, dot, Dan. That's why we call him Dot, Dot, Dan. Okay, and then This is gonna go on here. Have our clutch, push right in here. All right, I got oil on all them seals, or grease on all the seals, so they should go in nice. All right, here we go. So glad when they started making separate clutch covers for these bikes, and you didn't have to pull the whole side cover off when you had to work on the clutch. All righty. I do believe we have it. Nice. We are looking good. Okay, next let's do oil filter while we're here. Forgot to oil my O-ring, Dan. Can't have that.
That's why they're called O-rings, Craig. Oil rings.
Oh, it's not that they look like an O.
All rings look like an O. That would make it redundant.
Pretty quick to point that out, aren't you? All right, Dan, with that, one or two of these are gonna get cable mounts, but we'll get it in the bike and figure that out. Oh, here, let's put valve cover on. Let's put valve cover on while we're here. What you say? The answer is yes, Dan.
What you say?
The answer is yes.
It's a lot of screws, Craig.
It is. It sure is. What the heck? What doesn't it like here, Dan? Pull this tail pin. This never goes well. What the heck? I see what's going on here.
What's going on here? The camera's pointed at you?
Yeah, that's part of it. I have the cam in the wrong position. Let's get the cam something like this.
Oh, you didn't realize you had the cam in the wrong position,
Right,
Craig?
right.
I mean, come on.
Rookie mistake, I tell ya. Now. Huh. Now it goes right on there. Found a loose one. That's why we do this. All right. Okay, so we are gonna have to set our valves yet. This thing's about ready to go back into the bike. All right, now that's torqued down. That is torqued down. We are valves. All right, still top dead center. Here's my T. Where are my cam lobes? All right, what's valve clearance? 0.05 and 0.08. Okay, exhaust side.
I could have told you that.
Oh yeah. Exhaust side's always the bigger. Stick that in there. Okay, valves are adjusted. Okay, next we have our O-rings. I didn't get new caps for here. I just cleaned up the ones we had. Sometimes you just gotta stop spending money on things. Holy moly. Dan, I didn't sweat all day. You turn the camera on, it's just like pouring. Oil. Somebody took these off at some time with the channel locks, boogered up the head. I was gonna try to hide it back here, but it'll be fine. All right, I think this thing is ready to go into the bike. Yeah, what do you say, Dan? You agree?
Yes.
Nice.
It's about time.
Nice. Get this in first. Can't grab that head there, yeah. Not sure exactly what we're hung up on.
We're not hung up on much.
Nope, we're looking good.
This top, where does this go? Oh, that's that piece that was hanging down,
Yeah,
right?
it needs
Okay,
to-
okay. So this just needs to slide forward more, and then that'll slide into place, right? I think so.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, that's about lined up. Now this is going in from my side,
Yep.
right? All right, it's gotta move down just a smidge on my side. Okay, there we go. All right. The hole looks almost perfect on my end. And apparently it's perfect on your end. All right, now mine needs to go down some.
Oh, my hand's in there.
Oh, don't. Get your hand out.
There it goes. There it is. Nice.
There.
Here's where we're at.
Tell me where we're at.
Here's where we're at. Kind of have things mocked up, put together, and I'm at a spot where I want to fire up the bike. Now, I know in a lot of YouTube videos, everybody gets everything all dialed in and yada yada, and then fires it up for the first time. That's not really super realistic. So,
Realistic thing is you want to get excited.
I want to get excited, and I want to know that it's going to fire up and run before I finish putting everything back together. So let's bolt on this exhaust, and we're going to add some fuel to it. I don't have a choke cable, so I just kind of mocked up this cable. We're going to have to see if that'll work. All right, well, one thing at a time. Exhaust. Let's do exhaust. Gasket. I'm just going to put just a tad of grease on this gasket to hold it in place so I don't have to wrestle with it.
You're jamming.
I'm jamming in my head. I got some tunes going on in my head.
It's got some exhaust tunes going on.
Yeah.
La, 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 la. I'll just keep dropping it like there's no stopping it.
Okay. That's good for meow. Now, let's see. Look at this exhaust. XR only. Outrigger, the Super Trap setup. Dude, this thing is awesome. Dan, awesome.
Chee-hoo.
Say it with me now. Awesome. It'd be even more awesome if I can get it to fit. Let's be up here. Why do I start whispering, Dan? It's so weird.
It's the excitement whisper.
Dan, I'm so weird.
Everyone does it. Like when something's just perfect and you want to speak softly.
So you don't
You wanna
screw it up. Pretty dope. Somewhere in here, I think belongs a. If you look in the parts book, they call it an exhaust gasket or something. We're not going to worry about that for now. All we have to do is make sure that this doesn't fall off when we start it. For now, know what I mean?
Well, there's a lot of ways you could do that. You just zip tie it.
We're just going to snug this stuff up for now. Come to the other side. Do this in some steps so we get the gaskets crushed nice and evenly. In one of those situations where I should just go get a different tool for this, and it would probably be quicker, but I'm here and I have this, so it's what I'm using.
Sometimes the right tool for the job is the one you have on hand.
An aftermarket clutch cable, and it's not quite right, so I just have that sitting there for now. Dan?
Craig.
I think it's that time of the video
Oh boy.
where we clean off the workbench.
What, even that hanging throttle? You're not gonna do anything about that thing?
Wait,
Or hanging cable?
that's the choke cable that I mocked up. So normally this carburetor has a lever style choke on it. This one doesn't. It has a cable style choke. And there's not I didn't get a cable because, I'm not that, organized. The other thing I don't have at the moment, or I didn't really wire in, is a kill switch. But I did make a jumper wire. So in theory, if I touch this and this, that should be my kill switch.
Hopefully you can kill it before it runs away.
Yeah, well, this 4-stroke, this shouldn't do it like a 2-stroke can. Okay, so again, things are just kind of mocked up here, but I don't want to throw everything all together and then realize it doesn't start for some stupid reason, and then have to take it all apart. So, I did have to change out the spark plug cap here. The spark on this is still a little weak. Now I changed around the ground a little bit. Hopefully it's enough to fire this bike. Let's find out, Dan. I'm gonna wipe down the exhaust, because what'll happen if you run this thing and get it nice and warm and whatever, and have yucky fingerprints all over it, it'll kind of like stain it and they'll stay. So try to prevent that.
There you go.
Get a little gas to this carburetor. I can hear it fill up. Good sign. Oh, shoot. It's a bad sign. Okay. So it's leaking out of the float. Tried to make some carburetor that was in a box work. I do have, just to show you here, this is a normal 4-stroke carburetor, and I could throw this on. The intake bell's a little bit bigger, and that air boot is really hard. You can heat it up and stuff, but should make an adapter. Anyway, this 4-stroke carburetor has a slide. Now this is an upgraded, this is a flat slide, has the accelerator pump, everything you want in a 4-stroke. And I also have Mikuni, it's like the, what is it, TX32, TX34, 8, 6, something like that. This is a single cable carburetor. Again, the intake bell's too big. XR only actually offers this carburetor with an adapter to go into the air boot, but I don't think you can buy just that adapter on its own, so I'd have to make one. That's why I got this.
Block of metal.
A block of aluminum. However, I don't have the utensils to whittle this into an adapter. So I threw the carburetor on that was in the box, and well, here we are. But we got some gas in there. I'm tempted to give it a few kicks and tap that float around a little bit, see if that comes loose. Not a big deal. I don't know. Dan, I'd like to hear some life and some fire in this bike before...
Let's hear some life and fire. Let's hear this XR's song of life and fire.
Let's give some choke. All right, well, let's see what kind of trouble we can get into here, Dan. How many kicks? After trying to start that Samurai, I'm tempted to say somewhere around 396 trillion, million, billion.
Well, it's going to be less than that.
Okay, 14?
Yeah.
Now hold on, before we figure out how many kicks it's gonna take to start this motorcycle, there's a few companies I wanna thank. The first company I wanna thank is Racetech. They supplied all the parts and the labor so that I could have a well-working motorcycle with great suspension. The other company I'd like to thank is All Balls Racing Group. They supplied all the gaskets, bearings, and seals for this. And finally, Raycon for sending me a pair of their everyday earbuds. When I was doing this project, I spent hours and hours in front of the sandblaster, the wet blaster, and the parts washer, and scraping gaskets. And the Raycons were the perfect companion for this. With a 32-hour battery life and quick charge, they were ready to go every time I was ready to work. Now, I chose the black earbuds because my hands are always dirty, so it just made sense. I also drop my stuff a lot, so I got the protective case, and the wireless charging works through the protective case. The other thing I really liked about these is the active noise canceling feature. That way I could stand at the sandblaster and just get in the zone, and I didn't have to hear the hum of the machine the whole time. Or I could switch it over to awareness mode, and that way when Dan would sneak back into the shop, he wouldn't scare the absolute bejesus out of me. Good thing these things are waterproof. And with a feature list like that, can you believe that Raycons start at only half the cost of other premium audio brands? They have a ton of colors and varieties, and with an easy 30-day happiness guaranteed, send them back, no questions asked return policy. What do you have to lose? Go to buyraycon.com/mechanic and save 15% off the entire website. Buyraycon.com/mechanic. Now, let's see how many kicks it's gonna take to start this motorcycle.
The green M&M, you will notice, is no longer wearing sexy boots. The brown M&M has, quote, transitioned from high stilettos to lower block heels. Also less sexy.
Or one!
Wow.
Or one!
It's almost like you restored it.
One kick. Hot darn. Burning off that grease. I put on those little exhaust gaskets. Oh, I got an oil leak. Let's check my kill switch here. Nice, nice. One kick. All right, so I want to tighten up that. That's so exciting. Oh, that's tight. I don't like that.
Is it over tight? Did you break it?
No, it's not over tight. I mean, you just have to pull that and add a washer, add a crush washer. Okay, the other spot I have an oil leak. is down here, right here at the right side case. Now, if you noticed when I was putting this all together, this here, if you look really close, this whole thing was welded. It was broken, and this was all welded back together. I was hoping it wasn't going to leak and be an issue, but it does, and it is. I didn't have another case cover at the time. I did find one in the meantime. However, that one's broken as well, but not as bad. That one was just broken here a little bit. So I'm getting that one repaired. I can slap that on at any point. This here is just a very slow little drip, more of a nuisance than anything. Dude, I am pumped, man. One kick.
There we go.
One kick.
Now you're excited.
Now I'm excited. So now what we do is we finish bolting this thing together, work out our little quirks, make sure everything's Loctited and torqued, and then we get to go have some fun.
That is totally insane. I can't believe that bike started in one kick. Things are looking good. I think we're gonna hit our October 27th deadline so that I can go run this race. All I have to do now is finish up this bike, put a few things on, and we're set to go. What could go wrong? Well, let me tell you what could possibly go wrong. And I'm gonna give you a little insight here into some YouTubery. You see, not everything happens in an exact linear fashion, and things don't always get posted right when they happen. So our schedule is all jumbled up. So our deadline is October 27th, so I can have this bike done for the last vintage race of the season. But the bike build-off starts October 25th. That's only 2 days before I'm supposed to have this bike done and racing with the kids. And reality sets in. I got 5 weeks to get that bike done, and good for me, I'm out of town 3 of those weeks. The deadline for the XR, it just wasn't gonna happen. I just couldn't pull it off. So what I did do is, I got the old KDX 200 out and took that instead. Honestly, all I needed to do to that thing was put a little gas in the tank and it was ready to go. The bummer is, I didn't meet my goal, and it's been bugging me. So it's a new year, it's a new shop, we're gonna get this thing done. And voila, just like that, in an easy 6,782 steps, you too can have a rebuilt XR250.
It's just that easy.
It's just that easy. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. There's a couple little tiny things here and there that I can address later down the road. But man, right now this is a functioning motorcycle that I can go out and have some fun with, and I'm actually gonna go do that now. Thanks Racetech for the suspension bits. I love your stuff. Vertex and All Balls for the pistons, the rings, the gaskets, the bearings. This thing is fresh and ready to go. I don't know, Danny, you think it'll start?
Considering how easy it started before it was all put together.
No, I almost feel like it's jinxed now, though.
No pressure, Craig. You better start it on the first kick.
No pressure. Oh, more choke. Oh, that exhaust sounds so good.
what a fantastic bike. I'm so happy with the way it turned out. And there you have it. What a fantastic bike. The 1986 Honda XR 250R bike in a box has come to an end. But don't worry, I got a big surprise for you. Check this out.
What? Where's the rest of it?
It's in the box. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Dan's going to put a video here and here. Check him out. I know you're going to love him. Have a great weekend. See you. It's a pair. It's two. Pair. A couple. All right, Dan, we got work to do. Whoa, that's slippy.